All right. Welcome to another session, another round, another episode.
Dudes like us, I'm Sean.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Paul.
I'm Paul.
I'm Paul.
Starting to get to allergy season.
Yeah, you're a big
Yeah.
snot ball, man.
You're a little snivelly whiner over there.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying it. You know, it comes in phases, though. I mean, I have allergies throughout the year.
Well, you know, you
But-
could take pills and the little snort.
I don't like taking that stuff, man.
I hear you. It works, though.
You know, I do take them this time of year in the fall. It's a little
Yeah.
early, though.
Nose spray works the best for me.
Yeah, it works really well. I do that and the pill.
Yeah. When mine, I don't take the.
You're on a pill?
I don't do the nose spray year round. I do it in certain seasons, but I'll take an allergy pill every day
Yeah.
because
I think-
my allergies are bad come end of February, March time frame here.
Yeah.
That's when mine get real bad.
Interesting. See, mine's the opposite. It's I always can gauge mine. It's right before Halloween ish, and it's horrendous. Where my eyeballs, I feel like I want to pull them out of my sockets,
Yeah.
Huh.
and it's got so bad where I've actually have gone to the doctor and got a steroid shot.
In
Oh,
your
wow.
eyeball.
In your eyeball.
Yeah, in my butt actually.
Oh.
But that's only been twice, and that was a long time ago. I haven't got it. I think my body's either gotten adjusted to it a little bit, or the seasons just haven't been as bad for the last decade.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's acting up a little bit earlier this year. I'm starting to sneeze. I mean,
Well, you'll sneeze like 30 times in a row.
yeah, I've got a weird system like that. I sneeze a lot. 30 times is not an exaggeration.
And you don't subscribe to the elbow in the mouth or in the nose.
What?
You know what I mean? You know what they teach the middle
This
schoolers?
isn't hiccups.
No, you're supposed to sneeze into your elbow.
No,
Oh,
no. You let it all
Yeah,
out, man.
You do not. You're like, I'm about to sneeze, world.
well, it depends where I'm at.
Yeah, if I'm at
Yeah.
home, it's loud.
Yeah, Jeff
It's
Jeff
a
has
roar.
the
And it
loudest
sprays-
sneeze
and it
I've ever
sprays
heard.
everywhere.
Well, if I'm facing someone, I'm not going to do that into their face.
Yeah, but Jeff, seriously, let's hone in on this. Jeff has
The loudness.
it's so loud. It's so loud that I'm like,
So you yell.
how do your vocal cords
Yeah,
do
so-
that?
So you yell sneeze.
I guess it's just loud. It's just
Yeah.
I've read reports.
That's like ancient
That-
stuff
that
that
if you hold
comes out of his
Yeah,
vocals.
it's quite.
It's like some sort of chant
Well,
that
hold on. What have you read?
Well, I've read that if you hold the sneeze in,
Oh, that's bad.
that it's bad and you can actually hurt yourself.
Well, we're not suggesting that you
Well,
hold it in,
germs.
just not yell.
No, the force will like hurt you.
the nature of not expelling these germs. It's a reason why you're sneezing. You're trying to expel the stuff
Yeah,
that's
so you're supposed to let it out.
Yeah, but when
That's
you
in
hold
there.
it and then all the
I see people do that.
Yes,
Just
and,
like
and
it's
it
bad.
all goes into your chest, and like your heart goes. Oh, thanks a lot. Oh.
Yeah.
It's not good.
That's crazy.
It's
Well,
not
the
good for
producer put up a bunch of allergy stuff up on there now. I will tell you that
Flonase. Yeah, that's
back
it.
when, well, Flonase is exactly what I'm talking about. So, where I was getting to. So, I would have to go to the doctor, and he would have to prescribe Flonase.
Yeah, that used to be
And
prescription only.
It was like ridiculous, and it would cost so much for that.
Yeah.
Oh, now you can go to Costco and get the
Yes,
knockoff.
Get the
fucking
Costco.
15 pack for a nickel, you know?
Well, it's still probably $30 for a 15 pack, but
Yeah, but it's just
It's well
it's
worth it.
so
What-
much bullshit. I mean the pharmaceuticals period, it's all about the fucking money. And I know everyone needs to make money. I get it, but at the same time I'm like, come on. I mean, when is enough is enough? I mean,
are you
come
turning
on.
into a socialist?
You
Progressive?
are.
No, I'm not. It's what about these people that have diabetes that depend on the little
I know. Yeah,
what are those things they do?
the shots of insulin.
Yeah, the insulin. It's ridiculous. Why do you want to
yeah.
charge so much for that? You know, it's so ridiculous. Trump bent over backwards to correct that stuff, and the first thing Biden's dumbass did was reverse it. So
Yeah.
now the folks that were paying $13.99 a month for insulin to take
I-
care of stuff that they
I literally-
need.
Yeah, I literally think they went in and undid everything Trump did, not because it worked or didn't work, just because They didn't even look to see if it was effective. They just said,
Trump did it.
Oh, Trump did it. Get it out right now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
and they didn't even really look, because I mean these folks are dependent on the insulin. They're
Well, there's a lot of
dependent on it.
medicine like that. Insulin's probably the biggest one, but there's a
No.
lot of people that are dependent on certain medications
And then
to live.
How about cancer medicines?
Yeah.
The EpiPen. You know, that was another
yeah,
thing
that was
that was
another
drawn out, where I think this may have even been during Trump's presidential time that he was in office, where they had the chief financial officer or whomever was in charge of the quote unquote EpiPen, and she was like, the Congress was talking to her. It's like, well, how much money do you need to make? How much money did you make last year? You know, and she was like, well, last quarter I made $600 million.
Right.
And they were like, last quarter?
And they're charging how much? What, $500 per pen?
Oh, it was like
ridiculous.
$545, $520, something like that. It was ridiculous.
And they know they can. They know they can because those
People need
people
'em.
have to have them in case they have like an emergency.
You know, and then they were kind of like,
Situation.
why are they so expensive? And they were asking, they're posing the questions. They kept dodging, they kept dodging, they kept dodging it. And finally they were asked, how much money do you make? And she answered it. And they were like, is that not enough? I mean,
I'm telling you, the pharmaceutical companies are evil, man. They really are. I mean,
And now they're
I
bridging
say
into
that. I mean, they come up with life-saving things, right? I mean, there are some.
they don't
obvious-
come up with any of that shit. You
Well,
know?
I mean, there's obviously life-saving breakthroughs they've had and stuff, but they're greedy, and
They are greedy.
they control the market, and they snuff out natural.
Well, a lot of these
remedies.
companies are not even American. A lot
Right.
of them are over in Europe. AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna. Those are all over in
I didn't know that.
Europe. Yeah.
Okay, I thought Pfizer was an American
I
company.
don't
No?
believe. Well, Pfizer may be.
It's
but,
owned by, part of one of the owners is George Soros.
yeah.
Ugh, is he really?
You know?
And
Yeah.
Johnson and Johnson. I think Johnson and Johnson's the American. Pfizer maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I know like Moderna, AstraZeneca.
But I know that the pharmaceuticals
There's a
are
couple
in
others.
cahoots with the government and the FDA and stuff like that to squash something
But
that
the one
is
thing you didn't
in
talk about
competition.
is it's China. And I hate bringing China. It's like Marsha. But you know what? China is the one that is, they
They make all this stuff.
They make it.
that's where the production is.
They make it. They procure it. They make it. Like right now, they're all in Afghanistan procuring the precious metals. God knows who else is what they're doing over there. And there's a lot of shit in Afghanistan we don't know about.
right.
And they can go down there and pulling mercury out of the ground. They've been going over there and finding the aliens.
Pfizer is an American company.
Yeah, China doesn't. I mean, they're not going to stop at anything.
Yeah, Pfizer is an American company, and they also have they're broke up into 5 different companies, and they are all. It's so that they cannot be sued. It's like you can't go directly after Pfizer because they're owned by this and they're owned by that.
Right.
And I don't know how the system broke. I mean, I used to know it at one point, but it's like it's just crazy. You
It's
go after
different
one,
legal entities, right? So
it's crazy. Well,
It is crazy.
It's bullshit. It's not crazy. It's it's genius, frankly. But at the same time, they're taking advantage, and they're a bunch of freaking.
I'm sure a lot of
pathetic.
companies. I'm sure a lot of large companies set that up that way. I mean, because the whole world is sue happy nowadays, right?
Well, you know,
Ever since the lady sued McDonald's for giving her hot coffee.
That's the way it all started.
I think that was the
That was
biggest one.
scalded her.
Yeah, she got hot
stuff.
coffee and
For
she
her.
burned herself.
I remember that.
So she sued McDonald's and won.
Wow. Was she not wearing underwear?
She was nude.
Nude.
Well, she probably had a
the drive-thru.
She was all nude in the
And
drive-thru.
No, I don't know. It was an old lady. I think it was an
Was it
older
really?
lady. I believe
Oh.
so, yeah.
Interesting.
I believe it was an older lady.
You know, it's kind of like I mean, but where does it stop? Because I mean, I ate a piece of chicken breast, and it came from the restaurant, and I put it in my mouth, and there was a pocket of scalding water inside the chicken. So I cut
Is it a
up.
real story?
Yeah, it happened. I mean, I took a piece, bit into it, and it was kind of like a bubble,
It exploded.
and it was and it just like sprayed lava in my mouth and burnt the entire roof of my mouth.
Oh wow.
I could be
well,
rich right now.
Well, litigious people would
Should've
go,
sued.
oh, I'm going to sue someone. I'm going to go immediately to the doctor and get my mouth looked
Oh, that
at.
happens all the time. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sue somebody. I'm gonna resist arrest.
Good. Yeah, that's a good plan.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
I think
All
that's
right.
going to go well for you.
All right.
We're drinking a fantastic bourbon tonight.
Yeah, shockingly so. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that it was. I didn't have high expectations. I thought I didn't have high expectations. Period. It was
You had
Jim
low.
Beam.
No, let's be honest. You had low expectations.
I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't realize it was going to be this good.
Okay.
Because I know Jim Beam has been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
And they've got masters in their corner, and they've got masters in the corner. So this one does not taste like the label says it should. I mean, because it says it's 108 proof, and it does not taste hot.
Right. No, I got you.
It's very sweet.
All right, who's going to do the honors on
It's a
this?
very.
I think Sean. Well, he's quite in love with this.
Yeah,
bourbon.
you are.
All right. Well, this is.
I am as well.
It's uniquely perfect every single time. Every single
Period.
time. Every bottle of Jim Beam single barrel is unique, perfect its own way, both in distinct flavor, personality of the liquid itself, and the wisdom of the master distiller printed on its back. Does it have anything else? So it's.
So it is Jim Beam single barrel.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
see
It's
exactly
not
what
regular-
it is up there.
It's not a regular Jim Beam. This is the single barrel. It's got
There you go.
It's a little classier look to it.
It does have a classy bottle. I like it.
It doesn't have the white Jim Beam label on it. It's got a black, smaller label.
I'll tell you one thing that was kind of a turnoff. Simply was the screw cap, and it's very misleading. I'm telling you, bourbon lovers out there. I don't.
It had a screw top?
It had a screw top. I don't want to. I'm not.
It did.
The goal
does.
here, the in game for us doing this. I don't want to stay too long on this, but this is one I would recommend.
Yeah, it's tasty. It's got a lot of flavor to it. The nose.
The pitcher has a cork.
That's not it.
It isn't?
I don't believe so. It's a different bottle than that we have, but it is single barrel.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
ours is 108 proof. This says it's 95 proof.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, but each barrel, that's why I call it single barrel. Each barrel is different.
That's right.
So if we get
It's very good.
it'll have the barrel number on the bottle. So if you like that, when you hunt for this barrel number, but if you get a different barrel, it could taste different than this.
Right.
So,
Probably not by much, but man, if you're like really into
Yeah.
very particular tastes.
yeah, some people could probably tell a difference. But is there anything about go to the taste?
Oh, it says grain sweet oak fruit char. That's apparently the taste.
Char.
Char. I
right.
taste char.
I guess.
Yeah, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's not the way they're supposed to describe it, but that's okay.
Well, it's the color. It's a warm honey gold in the glass, deep full autumn in the bottle. I guess this all refers to the color.
Well, this is just some guy's review of it.
For 100. Okay, so the aroma is surprisingly shy. You really have to coax it up, which is unusual for 108 proof bourbon, which is basically what I was detailing.
Yeah.
You know, the legs. I mean, who really cares? But this one's the taste welcomes with it. It's like a pecan, coffee, cake, dried dates, all served on a bed of smoothness, but deeply infused with ethanol. Deeply infused with ethanol, which is what Paul was bringing up.
Yeah, no, the nose was.
It was. My nose is kind of shut down right now because of the allergies, so maybe that's affecting.
I'm smelling some vanilla now. Now that it's opened up some, let it
Man,
breathe.
Yeah. Hold on. What is this guy saying? Legs? I mean, who really cares? But more sheets than legs. What the hell is he talking about?
That's bourbon speak, I guess.
It is bourbon
I
speak.
guess we're not cool enough to understand.
We're
that.
not. We're not bourbonniers. We need to start getting into the lingo here.
What are
No.
sheets?
It says, yeah, legs. I mean, who really cares? But more sheets than legs. Look that up for us. What is bourbon legs? The hell is that?
I don't know. It's like when they describe this, they could taste like 18 different fruits and 12 different spices. And it's do whiskey legs matter? What are legs in bourbon?
All right, well, here we go.
So
Okay, step one. What are legs in
No,
bourbon?
That's just like when
raise
you,
your
when-
glass
It's
to
like
the
when
light
you're
and
drinking
give it a
wine.
swirl or two. You'll see the liquid leaves a trail as it
Trail.
flows
That's what
back into the base of the glass.
These are called
These
legs.
are called legs or tears.
I've heard that with wine.
Okay,
you're supposed
now
to do
look
that.
up-
You're supposed to do that with wine.
So sheets are supposed to be better, right? So if it's in sheets, that's better than legs? put in sheets?
I guess it means instead of small, skinny legs, there are sheets coming down the side of the glass.
Right.
Is my guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no. It says, but more sheets than legs. All right, so basically it was uniform coming down the glass. Uniform versus.
Well, if you hold it up, I mean, and you
Well,
do
I
that,
know.
and you'll see it.
That's kind of dumb. Why does anybody care about this?
Because that's the viscosity.
And that's what he's saying. I mean, who really cares? That's what he's saying.
It tastes good.
Okay, well, I'll give this guy credit for.
Basically, wrote a sentence and says it doesn't matter.
All right, so we essentially learned a new thing today, and that's the legs of a bourbon is the trail that it leaves or the tears on the side. So when you do the little swirling, the viscosity will adhere to the side of the glass. And is it coming in tears or is it in a sheet? Is it a thick coating around the entire rim of the glass or the interior, or is it kind of
Yeah, but we need
Yeah.
to know what that means, right? So is it supposed to be a bad bourbon if the legs are?
I think
skinny?
it has something to do with like what Jeff said, the viscosity of how
Yeah, I
thick
agree.
it is. And
So
that,
if it's a thick
that's
bourbon,
directly
it's
related to temperature too, though.
I don't know. That's something we're gonna have to research.
Oh, thanks, Jeff, for turning on the
Why
light
don't we
alert.
open up the lines and see if somebody's gonna call in and let us know what the legs and sheets are?
Okay, let's do that. Hey, this is Paul Rizzo. I got
Oh God! Oh, that went bad in a hurry.
Oh, Rizzo.
it's Rizzo.
All right, are we done with the bourbon review? I thought it was good. Like I said.
Yeah, I mean, do you taste anything specific? I mean, it's got the traditional bourbon flavors, I think.
Ah, you're right. It did open up.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell ethanol-y anymore.
I'm liking it. I'm telling you. I honestly, I think that every time we bring a bourbon, we get it from the store. I think we need to open it. I think we need to open it, let it sit
In the
with the
store?
cap off. No, bring it home, bring it here, open it, let it sit for 10 minutes with the cap off, and then put the cap back on. I think we need to try it.
What you don't know what to compare it to, though.
Why do we put the cap back on? I figured we just leave it off for 10 minutes and then
Well, you know-
sample it.
Well, I like where that's going, but that's.
I think what you do
we
is
bring home 3 bottles at a time. We'd be shit faced. We
Well,
can't even get out of the damn store without getting shit faced, let
I know.
alone
I know.
come home and sample more.
going our peanut butter and jellies, which we haven't done in a few
We
weeks.
haven't done it. Well, apparently, I think it's never happening again.
Puts Sean to sleep because
Yeah.
he does like
That's the
3
problem,
100 shots,
because you can't control
100% shots.
Whatever. I'm not,
You ruined a great.
I was gonna say I'm
tradition.
not an alcoholic, but I was like, well, maybe I am. I don't know, but the thing is, man, look, it does. Every time we do it, which is 99% of the time we've gone to Total Wine, we're usually leaving with a double shot. We double fist a 2 complementing liqueurs, peanut butter and jelly mostly.
Well, they're supposed to be liqueurs, not moonshine like you get.
Well, you know, I do the peanut butter flavored bourbon and some sort of fruit flavored vodka.
Yeah, I mean,
Seems-
it's the base is foolproof, right?
Right.
Whether it's a whiskey, whether it's a rum, that's
Right.
a foolproof.
and these
of
are
whatever
the
that is.
mini bar bottles, so they're more than a
Yeah,
full
mini.
shot.
Was
These are
that
like
they
a
shot
are.
and a half, 2 shots?
like a martini style.
They are, and then we marry whatever that base is with a chocolatey something or
or fruity
or
whatever.
fruity.
They are
something.
yummy. They
And-
are yummy.
oh, they're
But
great.
God bless.
Yeah,
When we're pulling out of that parking lot,
Well,
I've got
it's not
the
bad.
the radio's off and I've got music playing. You know, there's
Well, you're the only one because we're fine and you fall asleep. So
Then he
Right.
wakes up at 11. Let's go.
yeah, well, yeah. Are you guys
I
still up?
did. I got home completely passed out and came to around 11 o'clock. I texted you guys and I'm like, okay, I'm up. Let's go.
Yeah, what are we doing tonight?
I was like, I'm in bed.
Yeah, I was totally in bed. I had been sleeping for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And Shelly's like, your phone's going off.
Fucking Sean.
Right.
Well, it's true. So I can't. I mean, you know, and the thing that's weird is because, well, I don't think it's just the peanut butter and jelly shots. It's the barrage of samples that we're doing in there too.
That doesn't help.
Well, Sean goes in there and makes sure he has the largest sample.
Well, I mean, it helps.
Well, the funny thing is, like, usually when you go into these places, there's usually a good-looking woman standing behind a little table, right?
Or men.
And you know, they it's a setup deal, right? Where you see where they are, you see where the samples are, you know what they are. But
Right.
we've gotten to a VIP status where we know the guys that work there.
Where they hunt us down.
Well, yeah. Well, or I see them and I'm like, hey man, what do you have? And they have like a little side stash.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we got a couple bottles of this and this. Well, come on over. And then we do like an ad hoc tasting, right?
Yeah, we'll have like a couple shots of bourbon while we're there.
Exactly. And it's like, it's totally VIP treatment.
Well, speaking of VIP treatment,
It's kind of funny.
Our producer just brought over some Girl Scout mint cookies.
What's going on with that? Thank you, Mr. Producer.
That was nice.
Yeah. Are these fat free?
All of them.
Negative.
I think they're gonna pair pretty well with the bourbon.
It's good.
Yes, we're all trying to muscle down the thin mint without choking on it.
Here's the problem. So I've been cleared to start working out, right? After this shoulder surgery.
Is that a problem?
It's
Working out as far
with the
as like
mints and stuff.
weightlifting?
No. To get on the bike.
Right.
So I've got this, bike that was collecting dust for months and months and months, probably a year, right? And finally, I'm back on it. And then when you bust your ass, I'm busting my ass, right? It's a 30-minute ride, but still, I'm drenched and I'm like groaning, and it's hard. And I get done, and it says, "Congratulations, you're done." That was 300 calories, right? And so I'm thinking to myself, 300 calories, And then I start walking around when I get hungry, like I want a snack, and I pull the shit off the shelf, and I'm like, 190 calories for 2 of these, whatever it is. And I'm thinking to myself, shit, man, that's more than half of what I just busted my ass doing on the bike.
Yep.
Yeah, but your body is constantly burning calories.
This is true. You are burning calories. But the point is, if you look at it like that, it's like, what the hell am I getting on the bike for?
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting
Well,
here,
you can't look at it like that.
Now I'm shoveling a thin
Look,
mint down
in
my
order to
throat.
really lose weight, one of the things is you have to be negative calories, right? You have to burn more calories than you take in.
Yeah, well, just don't be a fat ass. Don't be a gluttonous pig.
It is
we're eating
that,
thin mints and drinking bourbon.
it is honestly that simple.
Yeah.
You have to burn more than you consume. I'm choking on a thin mint.
And that's the problem. Is I think the older you get, I think your body may burn less calories.
Well, the metabolism.
Your metabolism slows
Your
down.
metabolism slows down.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, these thin mints, they bring me back. They
they're
bring me
great.
back. Well, I remember like when I was, oh my God. I mean, Girl Scout cookies have been around for a long time.
At least
And-
1980.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, and it was just like,
I mean, really, do you remember as kids being...
yeah.
But my sister was a brownie. I don't know if she made it the Girl Scout before she hung her hat, and she sold cookies. But it wasn't the rackets that it is now.
Oh, yeah, now they're out.
Now
They're in front of every store.
I remember there were pockets of times where, and of course, Girl Scout cookies come out kind of annually at a certain time. I don't know what time that is, but I do. No, not.
Well, they do eventually.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Like these Thin Mints are coming out annually.
All right. So, anyways, I just remember that we would buy these Girl Scout cookies, and I remember in New Jersey we would go to. We'd buy the cookies.
I mean, there was a stand like
And-
out in front of the grocery store. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and then we would go to we this is like the summertime or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we were able to go to the movies afterwards. That's the whole point, is that we smuggled the cookies into the movie
nice.
theater,
Very nice.
and that was the deal.
And you ate the whole damn box.
Of course, you ate the whole damn
Oh,
box.
Back then you could.
Sometimes too.
I know you totally
You could.
could. That's crazy.
Wow.
But they make.
Hold
but
on, the producer just put up something.
Oh
the
my
Girl
God.
Scout sells 300 boxes of cookies outside of a marijuana dispensary in just 6 hours.
6 hours.
Well,
Oh,
you know,
they're gonna need them.
I think one of the complaints that some of the girls have with Girl Scouts is it's basically geared toward selling cookies.
It's so commercial.
That's why
yeah.
they want to
Yeah,
do stuff like the Boy Scouts. They're like, this isn't what
Yeah,
we intend
yeah.
or wanted, right?
They
we don't want to sell
turned into a
cookies.
spokesman for the cookie program, which is completely separate from the Girl Scouts. They don't do.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying that where does the money go to?
Like what percentage of it actually goes to
What do the Girl
the
Scouts
Girl
do?
Scouts?
I mean, they don't do shit. What Girl Scouts do is they fucking get crochet patches. And
that is not fair at all. My mom,
it's not fair, but
my
I'll tell
mom
you,
was a Girl Scout leader.
Yeah,
No,
that's
your
what
mom
it
was. That was 40
but
years ago.
nowadays it's
Well, I don't know.
changed.
I don't know if that's true.
Well,
I honestly
I'm
don't know.
just
But I would be,
saying-
dude, they go on cookouts and they go
My
on
sister-
campouts.
My sister went on
Whatever.
camp.
And they
outs.
do-
It's
they-
yes, but that was back then.
They do Boy Scouty things.
Nowadays, I'm guaranteeing it's not like that, man. I guarantee.
How do you know that?
Well, because they're greedy sons of bitches. That's what it is. Anyone that makes fucking money is greedy.
Okay, I get that. But
And
that
the
doesn't-
people that make the fucking cookies, hold on.
I just shovel this shit down your throat.
It's good stuff.
I understand what you're saying, but I think it's unfair to say that they don't do anything other than sell cookies and that they're a bunch of greedy
All
little
right,
bitches.
I get it. I'm not saying the Girl Scouts are greedy sons of bitches. I'm saying
The
that the cookie
organization.
man, yeah,
Yeah, the organization. Yeah, no,
the
I
actual
get that.
cookies aren't the Girl Scouts. Let's be clear.
Well, no, they don't make them.
No, I'm just saying, but it has nothing to do with the Girl Scouts.
Well, they're raising money for the Girl Scouts.
They are giving a percentage to the
Yes.
Girl Scouts.
What is the percentage? Look that up.
Where does the
I
rest
would
of
be
it go?
curious. Look up the
I
percentage.
heard it's like they make 20%. The rest of it goes into the fat people's pocket that
Well-
make the boxes.
Well, shit, that's a pretty good percentage, actually.
No,
Don't you think?
80%, 20% goes to the Girl Scouts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought that was pretty good. Well, they don't
They're
make
Girl
them.
Scout motherfucking cookies. If you're gonna
Yeah,
put the name
but-
on the
but-
box,
but-
I need to be making 80%.
Well, hold on. They don't make the cookies. All they do is get a bunch of boxes and have to sell them for them.
Fuck that.
I don't know. I don't think. Well, hold on. Let's find out. What is the percentage, Mr. Producer?
I don't think so. It says 100% of it. All of the net revenues raised through the Girl Scout cookie program,
Oh,
100% of it stays with the local council and troops.
That can't be true.
Ah,
That's net revenue.
Net revenue. So
Keyword
they
is net.
so they buy the cookies at cost? No.
They buy the cookies at somewhere.
hey, you know what? Whatever. So the point is, we would get these cookies, and
See what you did, Mr. Producer,
we would
by
go
putting
to
Thin
the
Mints on our desk?
we would sit there and go to the movies. And I remember it was like for a couple of weeks in a row, it seemed like the best time ever. And it was right in the 80s when all these fucking weird ass movies were coming out.
Tron.
Like Gremlins?
Let me see.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah,
Flash
all of
Gordon.
them, man. There's
Airplane.
Airplane.
Jaws 4.
Were you able to see Airplane?
Why?
in the
Because
movie
1,
theater?
2, and 3 were in the 70s? Why couldn't you have gotten Jaws
was.
2?
Jaws was in the 70s. Jaws 2 may have been in the 70s.
I'll
I
tell you
don't
one
think
of
so.
one of my favorite movies to go during the 80s was Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones.
Let's
Those
not
are
forget
all
Empire
great.
Strikes Back. That one came out in 1980.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones was that whole series was amazing.
You know that next one,
Yeah.
they're making another one.
Are they really?
Yes.
Are they going with that one dude again? Do they?
Indiana Jones, or what the
What?
hell's his name? Harrison Ford is in it, but I think it's his son who
Oh.
is the Swats
Montana. Was his name Montana? Montana? What?
Well, in the last movie, they passed the torch, the crystal skeletons or whatever,
Well, I think
and it went to that dude that's eccentric, that actor that's
Shia
eccentric.
LaBeouf.
Yes,
What?
he
What are
was
you talking
supposed to
about?
be. He's supposed to be the new
I
Indiana
don't think
Jones.
he's in this one.
Are you? What are you talking about? The Crystal Skulls?
Indiana
Yeah.
Jones Part 5.
Oh, they made it clear that there was going to be a handoff. That's his son in the movie, and they made it clear
Yeah.
that he's passing the torch to
That
this
one
guy.
was kind of a weird
and I thought there
episode
was-
where the skulls, when
Like
they came
alien
together, they
skulls.
kind of made some sort of
For the-
information overload and burnt that lady's brain out with data. It's like
I thought it was a spaceship.
They're alien skulls.
yeah, there were alien skulls, and the lady was like, "Give me all the knowledge, I want it all."
Well, you know
and
what
these
that was
beams
like.
were coming, and they were is
That
coming
was
into
just
her.
like the original, right? Where the Lost Ark, and they don't look at it, and they all get zapped.
No, that was different. That was different, and the face melted.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that
Oh,
was big,
yes.
big
What a
stuff.
great
That was
scene
that was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That was the first one.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
also when the big German got chewed up by the propeller.
Oh yeah, they were fighting.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they on the blood splatters.
That's also
all over
where
the
Harrison
cockpit.
Ford kind of came out with his little the comedic spot where the guy comes out, jumps out in front of him, comes up with a sword, and he looks at him like, "Please, bitch," and then shoots him.
Yeah.
And they all cheer.
Yeah.
Yay! all the people.
Oh, there's the melt.
Oh yes, his
The
face
face melt.
melting.
Yeah, so yeah, you see the flame.
Oh.
And it's disgusting. Yeah, it's actually pretty good graphics considering that
Yeah.
back then. But that
Oh,
was a
he
nice
exploded.
explosion.
It explodes.
Raiders of
I
the Lost
forgot
Ark
he
face melting
exploded.
scene.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah,
That
we went
guy's
to go see that
face.
movie. We actually went to go see, believe it or not, but those were some of the classic ones. But some of the riffraff '80s was like Herbie Goes Bananas.
Oh, there were a bunch of Herbie movies, weren't
Yeah,
there?
there were
Those
a bunch
started back in
of,
this. Those were Disney movies.
yeah, there was like a bunch of Saturday matinee movies. It was crazy. Outside of the mainstream, I mean, this is the other one producer put up on the screen where the Arabian dude comes out with a sword. He's like, "Oh, I've got this," And he's just like, oh, please, because
See, look,
Harrison
they're all
Ford has
cheering.
been
They're
he's
all
been
cheering.
running
Yeah,
all over
yeah.
the city, dodging vases, hiding in an.
That's
you know,
such a
and-
great movie, though. It really
ain't
is.
nobody got time for this.
Yeah.
Then you had Temple of Doom, where they were digging out hearts,
Oh yeah.
right?
That was
Hearts.
the third one.
No, that was the second one.
Second one. It was the
the
second
Temple
one.
of Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one
It was so. It was that movie and Gremlins that created PG-13.
Really?
That's how that happened. Yeah. Parents were like, when the whole heart thing, like you said, they were like, what the hell's going on? And then they put one of the Gremlins in the blender and blew up one of them in the microwave.
Yep.
And that was just too much for the parents. So they created
PG-13.
PG-13.
Well,
Yeah.
you scarred some of the kids that were like
Sure.
5-6 years old, and they were like, I wasn't expecting that.
Kalima.
And they were lowering them down in the pit. you
Yes.
know? And he almost looked like some from a Saturday Night Live skit,
It really
Yeah.
did.
He looked like the guy from Fish,
Hallelujah, Kalima.
Yeah, it was a good movie too.
Come over here. Put some blood on your face. You go down the hole.
I remember the blonde lady in it was attractive, from what I remember.
Well, he always had to have a sidekick.
Well, hold on. What was her name?
The blonde girl?
Was she popular? I think she was.
There she is, right there.
There she is. She was really pretty. I wonder what her name was.
Is it Kate Capshaw?
Oh, it might be.
And she married.
Did you just nail it?
And she married Steven Spielberg.
Oh wow!
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Allison Duty.
No. I think he's right. It's Kate Capshaw.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Kalima. There, he's got a beating heart in his hand.
I was thinking of the.
Tell me that's not horrifying for an 8-year-old kid wanting to watch Indiana Jones.
Yeah, isn't the little Asian kid the kid from Goonies?
I don't know. How would I know that?
Because you saw both movies, didn't you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Kate Capshaw. Yeah, there she is.
Good job. Very nice.
Then Kei Ha Kwong is Short Round.
How is Dan Aykroyd in Indiana Jones?
He's Weber.
What?
Weber. I don't remember him being in that movie.
I don't know.
What role was that? Weber. He must have been a
Well, that is. I don't recall.
Like a bit
he must
part.
have been like a museum administrator or something like that. You know how they always have a scene where they're
Right.
trying to have him collect artifacts. Oh, wait a second.
There
No.
he is.
So I think he's he's some sort of British guy in that movie. I don't know.
British.
Whatever. So, anyways, we would go to these the theater
Matinees.
and the matinees, and we'd jump all over this. I mean, what other?
Is that what started your movie buffets, you think?
Well, I mean, it was opportunity. So, the fact that I was a military brat living on a military base and there wasn't shit to do, back then it was different, for all kids because we didn't have phones and we had 3 channels on TV, 4 channels, whatever it is. So
you were outside.
Yeah,
That's what it took.
we actually lived
Right.
and got to experience stuff like, look at that bug.
Yeah, we used to go into the woods, and there was a creek behind the house where I grew up, woods and whatnot. We go back there, and we'd catch snakes, garter snakes. We go down there, and we'd catch crawdads.
Right.
Go down there in the creek, lift up rocks, and we'd have a jar full of crawdads.
Yeah.
I used to
That
go.
was exactly what boys should be doing.
Well, there was a couple girls that went with us.
Yeah.
We would leave. I'll tell you, man. I have to go to New Jersey for my job, and so I started checking out some of the places I have to go to, and it turns out that where I grew up in New Jersey, Fort Monmouth in Eatontown, the house there, it just brought back a flood of memories.
And it's still there.
The house is still there. They opened up the fort to the civilian public where people can buy the houses and stuff.
But
And
you haven't seen it yet.
I've physically been there because I haven't. But I mean, you can
Yeah.
go on Google and you can clearly see it. But Jeff talks about the creek behind the house, and we had something similar.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And there was what they call the duck pond, and we used to go fishing there in the mornings. But we used to get our own bait because we were challenged getting money. So we would get up we'd leave the house and I would sneak out like at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I remember climbing out. And I'm good. Well, actually, no, I'm good. I don't need a beer right now. I'd climb out the back, and we would get like a. They didn't have I forget what the hell we were carrying them in, but we would get night crawlers, and we would go out there with a flashlight, and we'd find the worms, and you'd have to tick your fingers, and you'd have to catch them really quick. Because they're super quick. You ever try to catch a night crawler and they lay out at
I'm
night.
not exactly sure what a night crawler even is.
A night crawler is a
giant
very
centipede?
huge worm.
It's a large worm. It comes out its hole, and
we should dig for them all the time.
I don't know what the hell it does. It like basks in the moonlight or something. I don't know what it does, but it comes out at night, and
Okay.
you can see it because you get a
There we
flashlight.
go. We got some pictures up here.
And it's the top left there.
I was going to say that is not an earthworm. Yeah, that one
Yeah.
is. And they're
So-
big. I mean,
but they're
Why?
large.
Okay, hold on.
They're large.
Nightcrawler is the same thing as one of those big earthworms. Okay.
It's exactly what it is. It's a
Because I, as a kid, I played with lots of gigantic worms, like big worms,
Oh,
sticky,
yeah.
and they left a long trail of.
when you pick them up and they go into panic mode,
they poop.
Well, they poop, but then they expel this highly viscous slime.
Yes, they do. Well, and then we would hook them. I mean, we would go fishing, right? You
Oh yeah.
take the big worm and cut
Well,
it in
you-
half, and
well,
it starts squirming all around, and you put it on the hook, and
Oh yeah.
and it's like shitting on you, but it's not really. I guess his guts or
Well,
something.
you got to
just
imagine
mud.
these earthworms are climbing through the mud, so they're basically.
It's just mud.
Do they
on the
do they
inside
eat
of
the
their
mud?
bodies, they
Do
have
they
to
eat
eat
the
it.
mud as part of their traveling through the mud?
They have to, because when you cut it in half to put it on the hook, it's excreting brown stuff.
Well,
I'm
our
assuming
poop,
it's
our
mud.
poop is brown as well.
I don't think it's poop. I think it's mud. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So worms eat dirt, the animal manure, and organic matter.
Also, worms procreate with themselves.
they're
Ooh.
asexual.
Well, don't we all?
No. The worms are asexual, which means that there's they don't have a sex. They're kind of like a sponge.
They reproduce by fission.
Fission without
Worms have-
sexual organs.
Yes. So yeah, that's right. Because I remember in 7th grade, the big thing was in science class. Was the big thing? It was the first time you start doing dissections,
Yes.
and they would bring in these humongous, bigger than normal earthworms,
Right.
night crawlers, and you'd sit there and you'd get your little scalpel and you'd lay it open and you could see all the ganglia and all the
Yeah, that
whatever
was
else,
cool.
all the pieces.
That
right?
was one thing I
Right,
missed
right.
about school. That was one thing. Producer, do they do that currently? They in lab class?
Did you ever have to dissect a rat or a?
We did
Okay,
a
okay.
pig.
I think Brandon did a pig.
We did a
Oh,
pig.
wow.
We did an earthworm.
We did a rat, I think,
We did a larva.
I think
of some
Brian. I think
sort.
Steven did pig too.
like a big pig.
Full 300-pound hog. They put it on
They had
from the
it-
ceiling and gutted
it was like a little
They
piglet.
skinned it,
It was
and
on a
made
big-
moccasins out of the skin.
It was a
Oh,
big flat.
yeah, a frog. Okay, so I'll tell you. I'll share one little.
We did a
snippet.
frog as well.
I brought my lunch to school one time, and remember the Lipton cup of soup.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I took one of the dehydrated peas out of the soup, and I shoved it in one of the frog's veins or open cavity.
His
And
butthole.
I called the teacher over and said, "What is that?" And the teacher was like, "I don't know, but it's growing." Because the pea started soaking up the formaldehyde.
Gross.
Yeah, that shit stunk too. I still remember that smell, that formaldehyde. They
Yeah.
pull the frogs out or the worms, whatever it was, and it just has that smell.
See, that brings up the other movie with E.T. where he's trying to free all the freaking what were they killing?
Oh yeah.
Mice.
E.T. I saw that movie once.
Remember, E.T. was watching a movie where he was mind melded with Elliot. Oh wow, Elliot.
Elliot.
Yeah, he was mind melded with Elliot, and whatever he was watching on TV, Elliot was doing in the classroom.
Yeah, and the E.T. was consuming alcohol. He was consuming Coors beer, and then
Coors?
Ellie got drunk.
Yes. And so E.T. was watching the TV, and his like animals were being like something, like set them free or something, and so he started setting all the frogs free.
Set him free! Set him free!
But weren't the
And then-
frogs dead?
No, they were all alive. They were in jars or something.
Okay.
There were
Yeah,
frogs.
they
There were
made the
frogs all over
kids-
the place.
They made the kids euthanize, so they had a live frog, and they
No
had this.
way.
They had a barrel, a little. They had a glass container, and the teacher would come around with a cotton ball,
That's right.
and he would drop the cotton ball that was soaked in some sort of
Cyanide.
Ether.
something that would kill the frog. So the frog was alive. The teacher would come by, drop the cotton ball in there, and the frog would eventually die.
Is this based on the movie or this is what you remember?
This is what happened in the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And,
Wow, I saw the movie once. I don't remember any of this.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So and that's when Elliot was like, "Free the frogs," and he would free it. And then they had the camera went to this one girl, and she had a frog on her hair. She was like, screaming.
Right, and then in the movie,
Retarded.
the actor grabs the woman and kisses her, and he grabs a girl that he likes in the classroom and kisses her, and he gets in major trouble.
Did he get a SWAT?
I got a first boner.
What?
What?
Did he get a SWAT?
What the hell is a SWAT?
A smack.
You never got SWAT on the ass from school?
Oh, why he got in major trouble.
Well, those are illegal
His
these
neighbor
days, I believe.
boyfriend.
But yeah, I remember there were certain teachers you never wanted to get a SWAT from.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
like a coach.
Yeah, I never got swatted. I think I was on
Yeah.
the tail end of the swatting
Well,
thing.
No, it was full bore when I was going to school. You know, you if
Into
you
what
missed
year? Like all the way through a senior in high school?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
My two friends got it in high school.
Got paddled.
Yep, by the vice principal. He
Oh
was
my
I've
he was
never
a
heard of
softball
SWATs.
coach, and
And weren't you given an option? Like you could either get paddled or do suspension.
I think so.
or
And
get
they're
sent
like,
home
we'll
or-
take the SWATs. And I
Take it
got
like a
out of it
man.
somehow.
Take it like a man.
I got out of it somehow, and they still hold that over me. And I remember they said, "Yeah,
White privilege.
well, they're both
White
white.
privilege.
Well, actually, the one guy's half Japanese, so
Ooh.
maybe there's some racism.
Oh, there was a racist deal going on there.
Yeah, but no, the other guy's
I've
just
never heard of
full bore
SWATs.
white.
I did like my elementary, junior high in New Jersey, and then I went to El Paso. You know, I showed up. I was like high school,
Right.
and I show up and I'm playing basketball and. Not to be, but whatever. So I was in there and I grabbed the net and I was kind of pulling myself up on it. And they said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, just pulling up myself on the net, just playing around, just playing basketball,
Right.
And
Jabber Jewel.
so this guy, this coach, this dude takes me to the back, and I was thinking,
Well, is
oh,
he gonna
man.
like abuse you?
no, wow, you got
Come with me in this back closet.
It's very sensual. You were like,
You got a couple options here. I can paddle you. You can zip.
I had no idea why he called me in the back. So I went in the back and I was thinking, oh, he probably wants to, have me play on the basketball team or something. I had no idea. So he was like, put your hands on the desk. So I put my hands on the desk. He opens up a drawer, takes this thing out, and just whacks me. There's
What?
there's
Did he
nothing.
even warn you?
There was no warning.
You had
there
no
was
idea.
nothing. Takes it out, whack. He says, "Don't grab that net again."
And you didn't, did you?
Did it hurt?
Yes, it hurt.
Well, I mean, assuming it did, but I mean,
It hurt like a motherfucker, and I was unprepared. I
you
had no
cry?
idea what the hell's going on,
Did you
and I'm
cry?
thinking, no, I did not. But but still, does it matter?
No,
I mean-
that's a violation of
Well, he should have told you first.
Yeah.
But
Well, I had
I have no
no
problem with
idea that was
SWATs.
something. I
Yeah.
had no idea that was even something.
that
That's
must have
was
been the
bullshit.
last straw. You must have been just driving this coach crazy for months,
I was brand new,
and finally he's like, "I'm swatting this
dude. I
kid."
was brand new.
Maybe
New.
he
that
just-
was like the first
Maybe
day
he
there.
looked at you and was like, "I got to settle this guy down on
I was
day one."
white and he was black, and I was in El Paso.
So you're racist?
He was evidently.
No, white kids are allowed to be paddled.
no, it can't go the other way. It's only you
Yeah,
can be racist.
Well, I mean,
That's
you
right.
put a black racist in a powerful position, they're gonna act out.
But they're not racist.
you as a white kid forced a black coach to paddle you.
Yeah,
That's
it's your
racism.
fault.
Wow, why?
It's white privilege.
He should have given me a warning. He should have given me a warning.
He should have given
So
you a
for
warning.
real, did you guys get ever sent to the? Did you ever get in trouble in school? Like sent to the principal's office or the
Sure.
assistant principal's office?
God.
Sure.
What'd you do?
The more and more I think about it, I was a piece of shit.
Really? You got sent there all the time?
Man, I just, yeah.
What
I mean,
were you doing? Just doing stupid stuff?
I'm just, I was a goof. I mean,
And they just got tired of it. Send his ass out.
I guess. I mean, no. I didn't act up in class and get kicked out. It was just I would do things like bring stink bombs and
Oh, you were the
Yeah.
prank. You prankster.
I did that. I brought way back then. It was called fart spray. I think it was gosh, was I a freshman? No, I think I was a senior in high school.
Fart
And
spray.
Fart spray.
It's like an aerosol.
Got it from Spencer's. You know that
Oh,
store
I love Spencer's. Who doesn't love going
that
to
has
Spencer's?
the little gag gifts and stuff.
That's a
Those are-
totally 80s. You know, I
I
say
haven't
it's an
even heard
80s
of
thing.
that.
'Cause it's new, but it's different today. I mean,
Yeah.
they sell dildos in there today.
Yeah, they
Oh,
do.
well, that's
Yeah,
exciting.
that shit. I mean, back then it was just like sexually explicit, meaning that they had.
They had fundies where you'd wear the underwear with your partner, and those two people would fit in a pair of underwear.
And it was a roll of fruit roll-ups or something.
Yeah, then you had edible underwear as well.
Right,
That was
yeah.
about those ratios you got back then.
Yeah, it wasn't too risque. You know, now it's just like, you know, they
Like
got
double
vibrators
dongs
there, and just it's just really.
Yeah, were you there last week or?
He frequents it.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have like a?
He owns stock in it.
You have like? Are you part of their loyalty program?
I get a monthly chronicle.
You have like a whole bunch of
He's
points.
on the catalog mail list.
Yeah, he's got points.
But anyway, I had this fart spray, and
I accumulated points. I get
One-
free
one-
stuff. You know.
one thing that again, my two friends that I would hang out with would probably corroborate this is I would always instigate the things, and they would always take it too far,
And then you got in
and
trouble.
they would get in trouble, and I would not.
Well, it's their fault for taking it too far.
Oh, what?
Oh, so you led them.
That
there.
is Jeff.
I'd let
You
them.
Jeff's
led
the
them
instigator.
there. You served up the softball
Jeff's
and
the
said,
instigator.
Do it.
and then exit stage left
What a
right before
dick.
shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
What a
Yes.
dick. That would be totally something like that I would bite on.
All right,
I'd get
see-
all wound up.
See
I'd be
that
like,
right there? Those stink
Yeah.
bombs. All right, so the
Stink
producer
bombs,
pulled
all
up
right.
these. It's a cartridge. It's a little bit bigger than a match, not a match book, but a match
It's like
box.
smelly salts or something.
Well, what it is,
Little glass vial. that you
they're
break open.
glass vials in there, and they're very thin, and you can easily put them under your foot and step on them, and then walk away wherever you're at.
It's like a little plastic vial.
It's a glass vial.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
But it's so thin that when you step on it, it disintegrates into nothing. So
Into
what
glass
you do,
dust.
what I would do is I would walk out, and it's outside, it's recess, whatever, and I would have one of the little glass
You
vials,
just like throw it.
and no, I would put it under my foot, and I wouldn't step on it right away. I would kneel down, put it under my foot. I would pretend like I would tie my shoe, and I'd slide it under my foot, and then I would stand up, step on it, squish it, break up the glass real good so they don't hurt themselves,
Then it stuck to
and
the
walk
bottom of your
away.
foot.
And then, no, for some reason it didn't. It dissipated pretty quick. But while it's dissipating, I just hear just like this wave of people behind me. Oh my God! What is that? Is that you again, Paul?
Really? It's the deaf kid.
Oh God!
Yeah,
I'm
blame the
not
deaf kid.
deaf. I'm not deaf.
I'm not deaf.
I am a human.
Anyways, I got in trouble for that. That was one of the reasons I went to the office, is because I shared I went to this German
I am
store.
a human. What the
And
hell is that?
I bought like a case of those. We had bought together a case of those, and it cost like $5. It was ridiculous.
Right.
And we bought a whole case of those. And
I
and
could-
one other guy knew.
Yeah.
And the other guy got caught because he was being stupid.
Yep.
Right. You gotta
You know-
be discreet.
You got to be discreet.
Super discreet. Look at me.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Slide it under my foot. Crunch, crunch. Walk away. Dun, dun, dun,
You don't
dun.
walk up into the front of the teacher and
God.
throw it in front of the teacher.
No, he was just like, hey, look at me, throw it against the wall. What an idiot. What a maroon.
Yeah. Total maroon.
You know, so he gets called out by the teachers, and the teacher's like, well, Sean bought him. Sean who?
Totally ratted you out. I thought they were your friends.
But you know what? There was a guy in the same school. This was in Germany of all places.
Right.
So there was a guy in the school that had the same last name as me, and
it
so they
was-
called him up.
Was his name Sean too? Same last
yes,
name?
yes. I was like, yeah, the same first and last name.
Oh, God.
and spelled the same way.
What are the odds?
Because my name's spelled SEAN.
So that poor guy got suspended all
Pretty
the time.
high, I guess.
No, he cried and said it wasn't him, and then because they came to me first, I was like, nah, I don't know.
You're like, it's the other guy.
it's probably the other Sean.
It's the other Sean.
So and then
what a jerk.
they came back and they were like, was it you? And I was like, no, and they were just like,
yeah. Come over
We
here. Get your
know.
paddle. Get your paddle.
but they didn't paddle there. But I totally got busted. You know, and then I had to go home with it, and then I knew my dad was going to beat the crap out of me, so I ended up walking. And this is in Germany, so and back then this was in the Benjamin Franklin Village in Mannheim, Germany, and from
Mannheim.
the
Mannheim,
school
somebody.
to the house, we lived in these military quarters, and the quarters were these large apartment buildings that had 3 stairwells that were 5 stories tall. So there were a lot of families that lived in one building.
Right.
And so I had to go about 8 long buildings all the way home. So it wasn't that hard to get home. It didn't take that long. So I stopped about the 3rd building into the middle stairwell, and they had a basement too because they had storage in the basement. I took the rest of the case,
Oh, no.
and I was in the basement, and I stomped on the
whole
entire case because I had to get rid of it, and I didn't
There
want
are
anybody.
families living in that building, Sean.
It dissipated quickly. It did.
They probably called hazmat,
well,
and like all the families had to like relocate,
no,
and all their clothes were ruined.
no. I even did. We even went to the library.
So they did stink. They were like, "What is that smell?"
Oh,
Stunk the whole building
Look,
up.
it
You hear like,
stunk. It stunk, but it dissipated within like 5-10 minutes.
How would you know? You ran.
Well, I ran from that one.
You
But
didn't stick
we
around
ended
to
up
smell it.
we ended up going to like the library of all places,
Oh,
and
come
Did they
on.
ultimately catch you?
No,
They will
No.
now. They're still looking.
Yeah.
no. But I got home.
Interpol.
Well, my dad whipped my.
The Stasi's looking for him.
Yeah.
My dad.
We
whipped
found
my
him.
ass.
The papers.
Kill him.
God.
I only got in trouble. I was a goody goody, like a sad goody goody. I got in trouble one time. I got sent to the assistant principal one time.
The hell.
Did
I
you-
know,
did
right?
you weep?
I know.
You
No,
were- you were
check this out. This is a
homeschooled.
good story. So I'm sitting in the cafeteria, and this one kid's bullying me. Right? He's throwing these peas, and they're landing in my ketchup and splattering onto my clothes, and I'm like,
What kind of ketchup were you had? You had the cheap ketchup.
You had the like ketchup water.
Yeah, that
I
was
guess
some
I had the
nasty
ketchup
stuff.
water.
You didn't have Heinz ketchup. Back
anyway.
then.
So he was kind of
You gotta
throwing.
shake that bottle.
He was
Did your
throwing
dad not
peas
make
at
good
me.
money?
Are you guys done? They're throwing. He's throwing peas at me, and I'm like, and I'm not a fighter. It's not like I'm gonna stand up and kick his ass, right?
You didn't alpha male him.
How
I
big were
didn't.
those peas?
I didn't. So anyway, so he gets up to go get like something else, and his books were on the end of the table.
Oh, so you just pushed the books on
Well,
the
and
floor?
there was a big trash can right on the end of the table,
Oh.
and I pushed like a whole stack of books, pushed them all into the trash can, and then everybody at the table dumped our trays on it.
Oh, really?
And so I'm sitting in class, the next period or the period after, and they come in for me.
Paul, we need Paul in the front
Yep.
office, please. Can you please
And they're
send
like,
Paul?
and they sent me to the principal's office, and I come into the principal's office, and there are the books, and they're all like crusty and
Oh,
stuck together.
Peas and ketchup.
And he goes,
Spooge.
okay, do you want to tell me what happened to these books? And I stood there for a second because I was going to lie, and I stood there for a second. And I went, well, I can tell you, I shoved them into the trash can, and all of us dumped our trays on it. And he was amazed. His eyes were huge, and he goes, and why would you do that? I go, because the guy was throwing food and throwing food at me and got ketchup all over my shirt. He goes, go back to class.
Awesome.
That was it.
Awesome. You know what? Well
he sent me
said,
back
too.
to class because I was honest. Because I
Right.
was honest.
Right.
No,
I
he
mean,
felt guilty.
Yeah.
He
No.
felt guilty. You had that, like, you had those hearing aids with the D-sized
Yes.
battery pack around your
Exactly.
ear.
It's like these gigantic ear
Oh.
packs.
They're like earmuffs back then.
And because that's what he said. And when I walked in, he goes, "Can you hear me?"
Did he sign?
Oh, you look like
And
one
I
of
was
the
like,
Lando
"Okay."
Calrissian's sidekick security guards with the earmuffs on. Just
Really?
huge.
My
In
God.
Cloud
Do you
City.
even know what a hearing aid looks like? Even back then, they weren't that bad.
God.
You're a mess.
I remember one time. Another time that I somehow got
You
out
would
of.
be the bully.
I got out of the trouble.
I would not.
Yeah, you would.
I was in probably 7th or 8th grade. It must have been 8th grade, and we didn't have hot lunches. After 5th grade, hot lunches went away,
Oh, that sucks.
so we didn't have that. Then we
The
didn't
hell,
pass the
man.
bond.
We had hot lunches all the way to the end in
Yeah.
high school.
5th grade. They didn't pass the next bond, and all hot lunches went away for all the schools. So all we had was milk and that the little orange juice thing that you could buy. So we'd line up and
Well, you had no food at all? Like
you had to pack your lunch.
you had no ham and cheese sandwiches? Nothing?
No, you brought your lunch every day. You had to pack your lunch every morning. I did.
Oh shit.
Ever since 6th grade, which you're what, 11?
Right.
So from 11 on, I packed my lunch every
Did you
morning.
make it yourself too?
I did?
Really? Your parents didn't?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Wow. Well, I think we're touching on some really,
No, I don't
some
care.
really raw nerves here,
No, I don't
Sean.
care.
He's
But
like,
anyway,
I had to walk uphill both ways to school
Yeah.
in the snow and had to make my own damn lunch.
Actually, I did have to do that as well. We'll cover that in a minute.
How is that possible? You walked backwards?
No. I'll tell.
I don't think it works that way. Even if you work backwards, it's still uphill or downhill.
I did it both ways. But anyway, we got in line to get your milk.
Yes.
And the teacher wasn't there yet. We were the I don't know, the third or fourth in line.
You drank all of them.
And no, we were sitting there at the cooler waiting for the teacher to be there to hand them to us.
Right.
And there was a outlet box that was sticking out because it used to be the cafeteria where all the food was made.
Right.
So all the power shit was still in there. We were standing there. And it was just a power box, a little 4-outlet power box that was sticking up out of the ground on like a little pipe, right? So the box was on top of it. And I kick it. I was just sitting there. I was leaning against the wall, and I kick it. And sparks flew everywhere. Boom! Sparks flowing everywhere. Big, loud pop. And my friend was standing next to me. And I was
Did
just
you
like,
see that?
I was just like, everyone was like, holy shit. No one saw me do it. And the teacher comes running in, grabs my friend, takes him to the principal.
Just grabs him, and you didn't like vouch for him.
I was just like, well, no, I was like in 7th grade or 8th grade. And I was just like,
You knew.
well, I did. And he went, and he's like, it wasn't me.
He's
It
still in
wasn't
jail,
me.
isn't he?
It was Jeff.
He's
That
like
was that son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's like the January 6th protesters. He's still in jail.
He's still in jail.
God, isn't that crazy?
I shouldn't have brought that up. Yeah, that's crazy. That's cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So you basically burned the school down and blamed your friend.
Yeah, it was big, big, loud, big pop, smoke came up. You know, when the electrical.
Why would it do that? It arced, so it popped a circuit. I mean, why would it do that?
So how big of a spark was it? It was.
was
How long
big.
did it last?
No, it was fast.
Like a second?
Yeah.
Boom.
It was just like,
So something arced.
So depending on the amperage, I mean, it was probably a big, nice, big, fat 20 amp circuit or something like that, or if it was maybe been
Probably
30 or
30.
40,
I'm
something like
thinking
that, depending
30.
if there was like a pizza
It's probably
oven hooked it up to it.
Yeah,
It was
it
100.
was the big, probably. It's where you would line up where the
Some of the older,
servers, right?
Oh, it's a 10,000.
some of the commercial
10,000 watt.
older
10,000 amp.
breaker boxes back then had what they called federal boxes, and these federal boxes, the breakers that traditionally are put in there are harder to trip.
Right.
So it allows
kid to
whenever
kick
there's
it and it
a
explodes.
cross, and that's why the sparks last. Nowadays, you can fart next to a plug and it'll trip it. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
especially with yours,
Your plugs
My
or
plugs.
farts?
your farts.
Oh, not the plugs.
Yeah,
No.
Paul.
No, really, honestly, that's exactly what it is. Back then the breakers just weren't. They're designed to trip, but they're also designed to maintain a certain load before it trips.
Yeah.
And nowadays they've got a lot more safety involved in there. That's why there's a lot of arcs.
So going back to the discipline in school. So today, zero discipline.
I'm all for corporal punishment.
They
in
can't
school.
do anything to these kids. You can't touch them. You can't talk sternly to them. You
No,
can't.
I'm for corporal punishment. And we told our
You
kids,
can have sex
teachers,
with them.
Yeah, you could do that.
Well, I mean, they do, but it's not allowed.
Yeah, we told all our teachers up through probably when you had the teacher conferences, if he misbehaves,
Beat them.
yeah, it's like
Shock
you
him.
have my permission if you want to give him a spot.
And
you
here's my
can.
taser. You can use it anytime you want.
Here, make him go pick a switch off the tree.
Nice.
This is a special underwear he
Yeah.
wears.
This is my favorite twitch.
No, but
Switch.
we told him, I was like, if you need to get on them, you have my support, kind of a thing. If you need to yell at them.
Who was the football player that got totally
I was
torn
just
up?
thinking that. He
Adrian
played
Peterson.
Minnesota
Adrian
Vikings.
Peterson.
Yeah,
Oh, he
Adrian
beat his
Peterson.
kid, right?
Well,
Not when he took a switch and he
he
beat the
switched
shit out
his
of him.
kid. I got switched as a kid.
Yeah.
I got beaten with a fiberglass rod.
What kind of fiberglass rod? Like a fishing pole?
It was like a fiberglass rod. Now, granted, he didn't do it very often. It was more, he called it the singing switch because he would be like, I've had enough. And he'd get it and he'd go.
Jesus Christ!
How was that? That was like,
Did it sound like
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or whatever.
Did it sound like a singing switch to you? It was a
No.
fiberglass rod that he would wave in the air and it would go.
Sounds like a fishing pole.
They used to take like a yardstick and crack that on my ass.
Yeah, they take the yardstick and crack the knuckles too.
Seriously, I think my grandparents had like a case of them, and because every time he racked one on me, he always broke it.
Right.
He'd come back, hey, you just broke my thing. And he freaking bought a case of the damn
And
things.
you'd have another one next time.
That only happened to me once. So, you know, remember when we had sliding glass doors and like you don't trust the lock? You had to put a piece of wood
Right.
in between the door and the wall.
Yep.
My dad got so mad at me, he grabbed that thing and was chasing me up the stairs and hit me over the head and it cracked. And he was like, "Oh, damn it!" Because that's his. Because that was his.
That was his security.
Yeah, that was
It's
his
a-
security.
It's a
system.
proprietary piece of wood there.
Yeah,
It's
because it
measured
has to
and
be the
cut,
perfect length, right?
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, Dad, dang it!"
and beat you with the other half.
And of course, I didn't even feel it. I mean, he hit my
Right.
head, and I was like, "Oh, damn!" He just hit me on the head.
And he was like, oh.
And then I ran to my room. Oh my god!
And you wept.
And I wept for days.
Wept.
Whatever.
No.
Yeah. Good
Anyway,
time.
so they don't allow any of that in today's schools, right? So
I tell you what, they're more firm
Firm.
in some schools than others.
nice.
I just say
Did
that-
it- did allow-
It totally
they don't allow
depends
it
on
in
the
any
teacher,
schools.
though, because my wife, right? She's a brand new
does.
teacher, right? So she's been there. She's been a teacher for a year. Not even. She started in the fall, right? So she's in the middle of her first year. Wait, no.
no, it's her second
Oh,
year.
she's starting her second year. God, I'm
Yeah.
losing my mind. Anyway, so she doesn't put up with anything, right? She raised 3 boys,
Well, that's
and
the way
she
my
doesn't
wife
put up
is.
with anything. So,
That's no excuse.
so they come into the class, right? 5th graders on one side of the class, and she's working with their 3rd graders. And for some reason, the teacher walked out of the classroom, the other teacher, and they were making hooting and hollering and making all sorts of noise. And she was like, "Enough!" She was like,
Did Zool
"Yeah,
come
there
out?
is no Shelley, only Zool." and she was like screaming at them. They were all like, and she was like, "I'm not dealing with it." And then like, but none of the teachers will do that. They don't do that. Shelley's like, "I'm going to get in trouble," and she knows eventually she's going to get talked to about being too firm with them. But
well,
I tell you what, when they're in her classroom, she's got them conditioned.
Yeah, well,
They behave.
Well, there's certain rules on that first day you have to establish.
Yeah,
These are my rules. and
yeah.
if you break them, these are the consequences. And that's a key thing that when you go through teacher certification or through school to get your teacher degree, it's one of the things that they teach you is you need to establish
Absolutely.
authority and rules on that first day.
Well, and
'Cause
what's
if you don't-
interesting,
You lose control.
right? And what's interesting is she's a resource teacher, right? So that she does like one-on-one with a handful of students, right? Probably not more than 10 or 15, and they're the kids that, you know, for one reason or another, they have to get pulled out of their own classroom, and they have to have that one-on-one discipline or one-on-one teaching, and it's usually because their behavior problems. You know what I'm saying? They're
Right.
behind because they're constantly getting in trouble, or they're being disruptive, or they something, or, you know, something. So she's got the kids that, and then some of them have learning disabilities, and they checked out of school. They don't give a shit, and so they're just, you know, I mean, she's got a handful of all these different type of kids. Anyway, but they come to her, and you know, they're amped up, like, you know, this is fun time. But we're gonna screw
Oh, yeah.
around,
Right.
but not now.
Right.
They love her too, because she's showing them boundaries. They come from households that there are no boundaries.
Right.
And when a kid is outside their boundaries, it's insecure. I mean, they don't act like it. You know what I mean? They're like, well, test and test and test
Right.
and test and do this and do that. Anyway, it's just interesting. And she thinks she's going to get in trouble because they're not allowed to do that kind of stuff. But whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
We'll
to
see.
someone complains, I would just keep doing it.
that's what I told her.
Yeah. I mean, the parents, that's usually not the students, it's the parents who are the problem
Usually.
that turn teachers just foul on the whole industry.
Agreed.
I need a new bag. It's the parents who call up and go, "That's not my baby."
Right.
You know, it's not my baby. My baby can't
Well,
do that.
The
Right.
teachers they've got a lot of stuff going on. They've got a lot of responsibility. They have a lot to take in. I mean, their job is not only to teach the curriculum. They have to. They wear a lot of hats. They are out. They have to take care of the well-being of that child, whether it's indirect or directly. So if that child shows up, it's got bruises.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
they got to
they
report
got to
it.
be aware of that stuff. You know, if that child shows up and, you know, they're sleeping through class, there's drugs, there's
I know my wife builds really strong relationships with some of her students.
Good.
Not all of them.
me and Mrs. Jones.
No, not in that way. But she has some of her students
How
reach
close
out,
are-
and they're a senior in college, and they're
Nice.
shooting her emails going,
Nice.
your class and your teaching
Was the
made
best.
this. It was the best, and it made this a lot
Mrs.
easier than what it was. And she loves
Jones.
getting that stuff.
Oh, of course.
And this is 4 years
You know what?
after she had them.
That is why teachers do their thing. They want to make a difference in the students'
Right.
lives.
Yeah.
That's why they do it.
Right.
Now, here's the unfortunate thing. They spend about 30% of the time teaching and 70% of the time doing bullshit administrative stuff. Crazy administrative stuff. And all the teachers are like totally, I mean, they were already like burdened and swamped and overwhelmed, and then COVID hit.
I don't think my wife does all that.
Oh my God. You should hear the stories I hear about, especially when COVID hit. Now they have, because some kids are from home, some kids are in the school.
Oh yeah, she definitely complains about that.
And then but you don't even, it's not a class. You don't have one classroom and some of them are home and some of them are in the classroom. They are getting online students from other schools. Like, it's crazy. Like, they're trying to balance everything and they're running around. And I don't blame them. I mean, this is unprecedented, right?
Well, there are no virtual schools anymore. At least not what my wife's doing.
Well, yeah, no, Frisco ISD, they're still, they have the choice.
Well, my wife doesn't have any.
Oh, well, good for her. Because Shelly has to.
She had them last year.
Shelly has some of them
And
that
she hated
have to
it.
do it. Oh, yeah. No,
She
Shelly
hated
hates it too. They don't pay attention.
Yeah, they don't pay attention, and she doesn't have any this year.
They lost a whole year of education. No question about it.
Yeah.
When COVID hit.
Yeah, I think our kids. I know you've still got one in there, but I think unfortunately, COVID hit when it did. But they got lucky that it got hit when it did, because otherwise, if it was earlier, they would have been dealing with that. The last, I think.
You're talking about your boys.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I got
Steven and Dawson,
Yeah.
Preston.
Yeah.
I think they missed 2 months of their senior year. But
Well, no, they didn't miss anything. They just did online.
well, it was online.
Oh, that's what you're
Yeah,
saying. Okay,
so,
that's
but-
what you're saying.
The seniors that were last year, they missed the entire year.
I know.
It was screwed up.
I
you
felt
know?
bad for all the graduating seniors. They couldn't do any of the things that they were supposed to do. They didn't have any.
I felt bad for Steven and the boys because they didn't have the prom.
Right.
They didn't have the senior day. All the senior shit you do
All
at the
the
end of the last
stuff.
couple months.
all
but-
the stuff.
It jacked up his birthday as well. His 18th birthday was
But,
just sitting in the backyard.
It's I know
that's
you
awful.
say that, and I agree to a
We were
certain
nude.
point, but I mean nowadays the students aren't even going to the prom.
Oh, I know.
They
I know.
usually don't.
They
right?
get all gussied up,
they
and then
actually
they
go
go to
out,
dinner,
they do the
take pictures,
Do
change.
a hotel room and
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 they
they go to a
go
party.
to the after party.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But they take all their clothes off. They put
hold
in,
on, what?
Well,
at,
they're
at the after party.
yes. But yeah, I mean, I think I didn't go to the prom.
I went.
My senior year.
I went briefly, and then my girlfriend was like, "Let's go. I don't want to be here."
Yeah, I didn't go. When I was there, everyone would go because it was a big dance, and then they had the queen and the king and all those awards and all that shit because it was just still then. But now they still have the dance, but I don't think a lot of people go to it. I don't
Right.
think anyway.
No, I don't think they do. They may make a brief appearance.
Right.
I mean, I'm amazed they still have them because I think so few people go that. What's the point?
Well, they really need to. I mean, I think it's
It's sad because back in the 50s
I think
and
it's
60s,
a
it's a big deal.
It's a celebratory event. And,
Well, even when I was in school,
It's a big deal.
in the 80s. Yeah, at least in my school it was.
I mean, I went to the prom. We went through the whole thing. I mean, it was they had like the king, queen, and
Best dressed, funniest,
Yeah.
they went through the whole thing. They had a bunch too.
Well, good.
They,
most talented,
I hope that doesn't go
and then
away.
they had the after
because-
party,
biggest bosoms.
and we went to the after party. And then the girl that I was dating at the time, we ended up
Longest
going over to my
schlong.
sister's apartment.
What?
I was saying, we went to the prom, and then you get some after parties.
Oh yeah. No,
And
I-
then,
that,
you
that
know,
was the whole point.
oh
the
my
after
God.
parties.
That was
Yeah,
it was
the
a great
after parties.
night.
Oh yeah, that was going on, and our big thing was we were up in Cincinnati, so you'd go to the prom, then the after parties, and the next day you would all go to Kings Island, which is an amusement park.
Oh.
Like
Kings Island.
Kings Island.
Kings Island.
Interesting.
It's much better than Six Flags.
Wow, how's that?
It is just better rides, bigger.
It's not what I heard. You said Six Flags, and I was like, "What?"
No,
I heard,
it's like Six Flags, but
heard-
it's better.
No, what I heard was sexual acts. Don't ask me why.
No,
Much better than sexual acts.
yeah.
Good Lord. Do you need
Yeah,
to change
Kings
your
Island.
batteries?
But you said Six Flags. I don't know how I got that, but anyway, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's a much better amusement park than Six Flags. It's actually really, really good.
Is it still around?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that because that's what you experienced?
No, my wife thought the same thing, and then she went. She goes, "Yeah, it's just better."
Well, in Denver,
Oh,
where
the pictures show that.
when
It's
I
pretty
spent
good.
I spent time, a lot of time in Denver growing up, and we went to Elitch's.
Who?
Elitch's, and it was better than Six Flags.
Yeah, I think Six Flags is kind of blah, not very good.
I mean, nowadays they all try to outdo each other with the big fancy
I
rides.
tell you,
So there's probably no competition between back in our day and now.
Well, I'll tell you what, the best roller coaster I've ever been on is called the Beast, and I probably rode it 300 times.
What was his name?
The Beast.
Oh,
It's the roller coaster. It's the
Wow.
world's, well, I think it still is, the world's largest and fastest wooden roller coaster. I think that's a picture of it.
Where
up
is it?
here.
In Kings Island?
I thought the one in
Kings
Dallas was
No.
the what is it called?
The
Roy-
Giant.
The Giant.
God, there's the one of the wooden ones. Maybe it's still there. It's so rickety, it hurts.
Oh,
No.
yeah, that's it. That's the Giant. You talking about the one in Six Flags here?
I guess so. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean it's
I mean,
I've never
the last
been
time
there.
I was on it, I can't remember. It was years and years ago, but it was like my back was jarred and it was awful.
Yeah, you're just old.
I am old.
Yeah.
It's surprising because you're in shape.
Not really, not anymore.
Well,
I'll tell you what,
whatever.
the Beast, it opened in 1980, and it's if you ever make it up there and make sure you ride that ride. It's one of the best roller coasters I've ever been on. But
the Titan at the Six Flags here is pretty good. You been on the Titan?
again, meh,
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 You're like me.
Yeah.
meh.
meh.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about the Titan that I liked is that
You almost black out.
the initial
Especially when
the
you're
initial
stoned.
hump that you come down, it goes down fast, but then you envision it goes under the ground, so that's the whole thing. So
Like
you're
a
headed
tunnel.
it goes into a tunnel down into the ground.
That's what the
Nice.
Beast
And-
does.
It trips you out because mentally you're kind of like, shouldn't it be pulling up anytime soon? And then all of a sudden, whoop, it's black. You're like, oh wow.
And then it's really loud in that tunnel. Everybody
Yeah.
screams and it's super loud.
I was quiet in ours.
Yeah, that's what the
Oh,
Beast
that's
does.
weird.
It goes up to the first hill and it goes down straight into the ground.
Jackass.
Why do they have? Hold on, you got this picture of here, the Texas Giant, and the far right you have this bottom picture of this big woman that
That's
says
the lady who flew
the
off.
victim.
That's the lady who flew out of the car.
How?
She's too fat and she couldn't.
She couldn't latch it, huh?
She
So-
survived?
No, she died. She flew
Oh,
out of the car.
no.
Oh Jesus Christ!
She died.
At Six Flags?
Correct.
Oh my.
Good
5, 6
God.
years ago.
I did
If not
not
longer.
want to know that.
Yeah, she.
Well, then why'd they even let her get in there if she can't get?
Well, they
harnessed in?
They started to be more restrictive, and Brandon, the size he is,
He couldn't ride it.
he has trouble riding because he's 6'5", big lineman.
Well, didn't some dude like lose his hat, a baseball cap or something like that, and then he decided he was going to jump the fence of "Don't go back there," and
That happened as well at Six Flags.
some guy, he got his head, he got decapitated
Yeah.
By the roller coaster?
by someone's foot, punted it, coming down. His foot hit the head and disconnected the head, and
For real.
That was at
Wow.
Six Flags.
yeah, that was Six Flags.
They were
He-
going so fast. It
Yeah, he was-
literally knocked his head
He
off.
went back there to get his baseball cap, and he was kind of, oh, look at this. There's some glasses. There's some wallet. There's all this stuff here. I'm in.
Also,
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, yeah.
Wow.
they're stupid.
Is that
people.
for real? Is that a real story?
Well, I mean, I think it's.
I don't
real.
know if the foot did it, but he died.
I think the car did it.
No,
Right.
it's impossible. It was a foot. It was a dangling foot that took his head off.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but that
But
lady.
Six Flags.
But I remember Brandon. He was 17 or so, and they have the little teenager girls working the rides, and she's like, "You're too fat to ride. You need to get off." So him being that, and he's not. He's an extremely large man.
Right. Yeah.
So
No, he's not fat at all.
no, and after that, I had to have a discussion with him that says, "Well, guys
So-
your size
So a
are
teen-
limited to what they could do sometimes. Sometimes you can't ride that roller coaster because you're 6'5", 270 pounds, right? So you can't
Yeah.
ride a horse. There's certain things you can't do.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't say
Yeah,
exactly
it
how.
doesn't say how
So
it
it says a
happened.
teenager was decapitated by a roller coaster after he hopped a pair
that's
of
in
fences
Louisville.
and entered a restricted area Saturday at Six Flags over Georgia, authorities said. Six Flags officials are uncertain why the identified 17-year-old from the Columbia scale two 6-foot fences and passed signs that said, "Hey, man, don't go in here because you're stupid."
So he didn't know.
Yeah, whatever.
He wasn't very clear.
Six Flags closed the roller coaster after that Saturday incident. The ride was expected to reopen Saturday. No ride. So I don't see, okay, the teen parents, I don't see how it got, but
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
I'm almost sure it was his foot because there was a joke about it on the nighttime shows. Like he was punting his.
Right.
They made the punting joke.
Right. Oh, and then they had another one right below that where some teenager got their legs severed by some dangling cable that had come loose.
What?
Yeah, it was right below that in 2007.
All right, I don't want to hear any of this.
I know it. It's awful. They said they were able to reattach one of the legs, but not the other one or something. I don't know. Golly.
Well, there's no good thing with that. That's
Yeah.
there's a lot of horrible things happen at some of these amusement parks. I remember living in New Jersey at the time. There was it was actually in Connecticut. I mean, I lived in New Jersey, but we went to Connecticut because that's where my relatives live. And there was a haunted house in one of the amusement parks that caught fire. So it's dark already in the haunted house.
And people were in there when it caught fire?
Yeah, it caught fire, and there were a dozen people that got stuck in there.
Like died?
Yeah, they died. Smoke and it caught fire, and they died. And that's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's been some really bad fire stories, right? That was the whole Great White concert. Remember that?
Yeah,
and they were trying to get out, and all the the Great White concert.
There's the pyrotechnics that were a little overcharged for the size of venue that
and
they
caught
were
the
put
ceiling
in
on fire.
It just kind of, and for some reason they had chained all the doors.
The exits were chained,
and
they couldn't get out. I was like, I think like 100.
That was a fuck up on the building, and the thing is that I think that what the inside story is on that is that there were the kids kept opening up the doors, and they were letting their friends in nonstop. So they were like, "Fuck it, we're locking them."
Enough of this. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Well,
brutal. I remember another one. This is a horrible topic to be on, but do you remember one in San Francisco where they had some sort of? It was like an abandoned building that a whole bunch of artists set up shop in, and same kind of deal. It caught fire, and there were the exits were blocked, or the exits, they were blocked. They couldn't find the exits. Look that up for me, Mr. Producer. It was a San Francisco art district fire.
Ghost Ship Warehouse fire?
Yeah, that sounds right. Some sort of warehouse. And it was
so the Ghost Ship Warehouse fire was a fire that occurred in a former warehouse in the Fruitville neighborhood of Oakland, California.
Okay.
This was converted into an artist collective.
That's it.
With living spaces.
That's it.
The fire occurred on December 2nd, 2016, approximately 11:20 p.m.
And they had a
Pacific time.
And they had a concert. And there were like 100 people. Okay, there it is. 180 to 100 people attending the concert. 36 of them were killed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
People. Oh, it's awful.
Well, you remember back...
We just talked about the Great White concert.
Yeah, well, you remember the country club that caught on fire in the late 70s?
Country club?
No.
The Hollywood... I remember reading about this way back then. The Beverly Hills Supper Club.
Beverly Hills Supper Club?
Look that one up. Beverly Hills Supper Club fire.
I wonder what the worst fire is in the history of the United States.
Well,
probably the Chicago fires.
Well, yeah, this one was pretty bad.
Deadliest nightclub fire.
The Chicago fires were by far the worst because the whole fucking city caught fire.
You're talking about like 1919 or something?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah, okay. The cow kicked over the thing. Anyway, 165 people died on this one. I don't remember, but I remember hearing about it, and I was young when this happened, but I remember hearing about it. And
200 were injured?
Yeah.
And 165.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know.
How does that happen?
I don't know if it was because the doors were locked or what.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I remember that one as a kid, hearing about that one. I was 8.
Yeah, all kinds of crazy ways to die.
Well, why don't we go through the different ways?
Well, I'm boarding an airplane Thursday, so let's talk about that.
No,
Shooting through the
let's
sky
not.
at 500 miles an hour through a thin metal tube,
Yeah, let's not do that. Let me ask one question though.
How about taking a vaccine?
taking the Bernoulli effect.
So on the heels of the September 11th, do you think it's ever possible for another plane to be hijacked again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How? How can they get in the cockpit?
I
There's
don't know.
ways.
I mean,
I'm sure there's ways.
yeah.
So you think in our lifetime we're going to have
I don't-
another
well,
American Airlines?
Who knows? I would never say never because, how do you get in those cockpits? First of all, you got to know how to get in the cockpit. If you know how to get in, then you can get in. And there's this backdoor shit always. There's not a fucking little lever that opens and shuts. Yes, there is. But there's also
there's got to be. Like, what if the pilot passed out? There's got to be a way for the stewardess to get in there.
Digital lock that will allow you access to that. And if there's a digital lock that will allow access to that, then there's a way to break into it.
There's a way to hack it.
But also, again, you see the movies where the pilots are locked in there. The hijackers have the plane. They're like, we're going to kill someone every minute until you let us in.
But they
Boom.
have a policy where they
Well, that's the thing.
don't let them.
Are those pilots strong enough?
They
may have a policy, but are they strong enough?
If they don't, they're all dead anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. What you have to do, but in the moment,
I know. I hear you.
It's a hard thing to. They just blew up this 8-year-old girl.
But then they got the stuff too, where
Yep.
the plane is. They don't even have to get on the plane to hijack the plane. There's ways to access control of the plane remote
With like a PlayStation remote.
Like a drone.
ish. Yeah, I guess. I
Like
mean,
a
I don't
flight
know.
simulator?
I don't know how realistic that is. It seems to
Well,
me
they-
like
you know, they
Is
talk
that
about-
ability out there?
I don't know.
I mean,
Actually.
they-
I don't know.
Can you hack into a plane remotely? I don't know if you can.
I know there are some planes that you can.
I would say it's possible.
I don't know if there's some because the planes are all computerized now.
What does it mean
you
they're
don't
hooked
have
up
to
to
do
the
shit.
internet? We've had that discussion.
We're not saying the internet.
Well, wirelessly, you have to be
I
hardwired.
mean, I could be-
It's
Well, that's
closed
what
circuit.
ILS is.
I could be sitting in the first row, the first class, and with my phone and tap into some Bluetooth device that allows me access to control the plane, and I can
I
reroute
doubt it.
us to the freaking.
Well,
Orient.
I mean, think
I
about
doubt
it.
it.
Most planes nowadays are landed by ILS, which is Instrument Landing System. The pilots don't land.
But that's on board.
Well, I thought it was controlled by the tower of the airport.
No, that's all. That's something that's self-contained within the plane itself.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like an
That's what I
automatic
mean.
braking
But
system.
they've got to be sending signals out from the tower
No.
of what
Oh.
to do. Or
No,
something. No.
no.
So it goes back to the whole Continental Pipeline. It got hacked because it's online. Does it really need to be online?
Agreed.
Those type of things. If planes are online where you can hack, they need to be undone. All right. I mean, why do you need to have that hooked up? And I'm not saying they are. But
It could be something really easy too. I mean, it could be something. Let's just say you have a network that's not online. All right.
I'm right.
If you
ILS works by sending two beams up from the landing runway, one telling the pilots if they are too high or too low, the other telling them that they are left or right of the runway center line. The radio beam signals are interpreted by the aircraft's computer systems and relay this information to the pilots.
those are It's
so
possible.
they're
Okay.
guidelines.
it's
But-
possible, but is it radar type things?
I don't
Can you
know.
hack radar and take over a plane?
I don't know. We can try.
I'm in.
I'm not saying it's
Let's
not
do a
possible.
summer project.
All right.
Yeah, I'll have another beer, please.
Oh, sure.
I mean, the Yingling traditional lager is, I think it's pronounced coarse.
Shiner Bock for you?
I like Shinerbach. We should make a trip down to Shiner.
Where is it?
It's just
Don't
south
say
in
don't say
Texas.
Shiner, Texas. I know that. Where is Shiner, Texas?
It's down south, I believe.
It's in Texas.
Down by Houston. Isn't it close to Houston?
I don't know.
I don't know, Mr. Producer. You could look up Shiner,
Yeah,
Texas.
he's not looking up anything right now.
He's playing a video game.
Where is Shiner, Texas? You better not be playing a game.
He's totally playing a game.
Give me your phone.
He's doing homework.
You're grounded. Mr. Producer, you're grounded.
You need a SWAT. Get over here.
All right, where is Shiner, Texas? That's a very proud local beer.
And plus, it's a Czechoslovakian Czech Republic.
Is it?
Oh, it's south.
That's in between San Antonio and Houston.
Almost exactly in between the two.
You
Well-
could almost make that trip from Fredericksburg.
Oh.
Well, slap my ass and call me happy.
Fredericksburg is northwest of San Antonio, though. So it's
Okay.
probably going to be an hour or more. It's the
Really?
it's the Spetzel. Oh, you go to Mary's. You
Spetzel.
go to Mary's Tacos.
Mary's.
So do you guys prefer Shiner
sounds like a-
Blonde or General Shiner?
I like both.
Mary's Tacos.
Shiner Blonde is
Is
their
that the
light.
red light district?
In Shiner?
Miners.
The red light district of Shiner, Texas? I think it's one little cottage.
Mary's
Right.
Tacos.
Get
That
the
makes me
red
think
line.
of like the craziness that was going on in Frisco and Plano
What?
back in
Oh, you're talking about the Roses massage
Yeah.
parlors?
yes. Well, no, they were little tiny.
Well, they're whorehouses.
Yes,
Thank
but
you,
they
Jeff.
were
We
tiny.
were trying to avoid that word,
yeah, really.
but thank you.
Best little
Come on.
whorehouse in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, up until the
Little
point,
happy
up,
ending
up until
bungalows.
right before I moved into Frisco, which was in 1997,
Yeah.
they still had an operating whorehouse.
Yeah. They're down on 121. At least the one I knew.
Yes.
We drive by their old house sitting out back, and you're like,
Yes.
I've never heard of
Yeah.
one of those.
You've
I
never
mean,
heard of it?
I have heard of that, yes, but I've never seen it.
well, it's
Oh,
not
we-
there anymore.
Well, we saw it. I saw it.
Well, I did too, but it's not there now.
I
You'd
never,
show up and they'd be like, Norm!
no,
Like,
I never went there. Well, I
Oh.
didn't use my real name,
Yeah.
but I never went there. No, I heard.
That was believable.
I
No,
know.
I heard.
I'd never been there.
It's like shaking
I don't know.
hands
Who,
like
I don't
that,
know who.
really.
This is all.
It's on the north side
this
of
is all
121 in
This
Independence,
is all
but I've never been
ridiculous
there.
side information or secondhand information.
Side boob.
But like the police
Cost
chief,
$45
at
for a
some-
hand job,
at
but
some
I've never
point,
been there.
It was either the police chief or the fire chief that was like known to be a regular type of thing. I was like, shit,
Who's a connoisseur
I don't know.
of the chicken ranch.
I don't know.
Good, she must have had soft hands.
What's crazy is how it lasted so long.
That was through the 90s.
I know.
Yeah.
They also have I've heard of also, God bless it, south of 380 but north of 120 in Texas, gambling places where
Hmm.
you can gamble and play poker.
Oh, very nice.
In Texas.
Well, for those people that are listening to our podcast that are not in Texas,
I remember in
Dudes like
a
us.
few years ago. I think it was
US.
in Plano, where it was just a regular house where they set up like a swinging
Oh,
brothel type thing,
go on.
and basically what it was, I think it was in Plano, and basically the neighbors, it was like a neighborhood just like we're in here,
right.
and like every Saturday.
There are people that have swingers parties probably all the time.
Well, what it was is like
It's my ex-brother-in-law used to have
Hundreds.
swingers parties.
hundreds of
Kidding.
cars would line up the streets, and they started taking notice, and when they broke into this place, mattresses lined all the floors.
Oh,
Mattresses.
gross.
So it was like a room, but it was just, instead of
So
carpet,
it's a
it would just be
giant
mattress.
orgy.
It was a big orgy, and they got arrested and shut down and
Why? They were minding their own business.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No. Yeah, no.
That's just
Coming from somebody
that-
who went to the nudist colony.
But that wasn't my. I had no
Uh-huh,
choice. I had to go
uh-huh. Why'd you ask to stay longer?
because they had fucking chili.
And on a tricycle.
It was very
they-
spicy.
You rode around naked on a tricycle
That
for
was
2
not me.
weeks.
You
That-
know he dipped his
For
balls
2
in it.
weeks you were down there.
Ooh,
That's
I
why
never-
it was so salty.
What? So salty.
All right. Well, some of those folks that don't know what the hell they're
Wrong
talking
with
about.
you?
I had a job down in
A
Edinburgh,
job.
Texas,
A
and
quote,
I was
job.
doing something, and unbeknownst to me,
Mhm.
and unbeknownst to the people that sent me there, the place I was to work was a nudist colony. And then I
Mhm.
reported back to them, and I was like, dude, do you realize you sent me to the nudist colony? They were like, no. And then we got a chuckle out of it. And I was like, that's real nice, but I'm scarred for life.
So there are no
You-
sexy
You
young
didn't actually
women.
see nude
I
people.
showed up, and
They were everywhere?
well, yeah, they were
Wow.
everywhere. People were. It's a nudist colony.
Well, didn't you say one guy was riding a trike
Dude,
with
there was
his
a-
junk all splayed
there
over
was
the
a-
seat?
yeah.
Okay.
Then these big old
Splayed.
shit
You have to use
stains
the
all
word
over the seat. You
splayed.
know.
Make it sound like you're cutting
And he
meat.
had a full body tan too. He had a big
I
old
splayed the chicken.
He had an anteater penis that was, I mean, he was so
Okay.
proud of it. The shit was hanging down. And I was like,
Okay.
come on. Okay, I get it. Thank you. Thank you.
So how
It's
many
larger
times-
than mine. Thank you.
So how many times did you look? Just twice?
Once. Because I was kind of like, is he?
You're
Yeah,
like, what?
God,
what-
he is.
He
Fuck,
was-
he is.
He's on a tricycle.
He
What?
was wearing he was driving
And he's looking really
an
close?
adult tricycle
What
with this
brand of tricycle is that?
was a little
I'm gonna
Shih
look
Tzu
really
in the
close.
basket in the front.
Did it have the little streamers on the handles?
We did not have the
Did it have the
streamers.
big orange
But then they had a
flag?
few ladies show up too. With the orange flag in the back.
Orange flag in
the
the
big
back.
orange
Oh my
flag
God.
on the
I
I
seat.
forgot about those.
I think he did. I don't recall though.
It's
but
like
look, the
it's like
place had
that's like a
the
golf
place
Hey,
had
it could have been
flooded.
worse. He could have been on an adult big wheel.
the place had flooded. Okay, so
With his ass kind
I
of-
was
yeah,
out there
with his crotch
and
like kind of leaning
I had
up.
to wear these is it wading boots?
waiters.
Waders. I mean I had to dude, it was deep. I had to go way out there and there were guys out there naked
In the water
in the water.
with you. He was like, "Hey,
And they're like, hey,
Well, I mean, this
hey,
was
how you doing,
technically
big
this was
boy?
a trailer park in Edinburgh, Texas, but it was a nudist colony. So what it is that people go down to South Texas, and they live in a community where they know a bunch of people, and they basically they travel. So like a certain couple months out of the year, they go there when it's cold, and because it's warmer down there, and then in the summertime they go up north where it's not as cold and a little bit warmer. So it's
Right.
just like it's a seasonal thing. So you have these
so
people
it's a
that
bunch
move
of
around.
so it's a bunch of retirees."
Yes. Yes. So
and,
it's a
and that
bunch of-
body shape.
nude
yeah. So
retirees.
that's what I was exposed to. So there was a bunch of teabag tit bitches that walking around.
So it
Dude,
wasn't
oh
like
my God.
like 22-year-olds
No, it was not.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing like that.
No,
do
this
they-
wasn't
Instagramming.
So is
This
but
wasn't an MTV awards ceremony. This was
so just because
the
they were
Geritol commercial.
just because they were nudists doesn't mean they're swingers, right?
no,
I guess not.
I don't know.
well, they're not all walking around with boners.
Well, I mean, I didn't see that many of
Thank you
them.
for adding that.
But could you imagine be sitting at the table and you'd be like, "Oh fuck,
Oh, my bad, guys.
sorry, he bent over."
Oh.
I don't know.
I mean, you know what I mean? You would almost think that if it's a nudist colony is tied into tied into swinging and tied
I don't think
into
it's anything
sexual
sexual
stuff.
I don't think it's
it is
sexual at all.
either. It's more like a liberation thing. It's like we're gonna just live the way we want to with no clothes.
All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for that. I think I agree with you. I started to reflect a little bit when you. I know I heard the music come on. I started to reflect, but I think you're right. There's not a whole lot of sexual stuff like that going on. I think there
Yeah.
are some folks in the community that are like that, but I
Right.
think the majority of it is exactly what you're saying.
It's
It's
just-
a liberation thing.
I just want to.
Yeah.
You know,
I just want to walk around nude.
there's a lot of.
I want to like
I'd
give
say
the
there's
middle
half.
finger to the whole world.
So if you have, I say there's half. I say there's like half heterosexual people there and half gay people there.
right.
I mean, I think it's an even balance because there were a bunch of dudes, unlike us.
So which
and-
ones ride the tricycle with the orange flag?
Oh, he was a sailor.
He just he was a bear.
No, he was not a bear.
We've talked
It's more
about
like a
your leather convention bear.
All right, the dudes like us.
All
This
right.
Sean. We'll be back. Second half coming up.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.
What's today?
Tuesday.
Thanks.
It's
All right,
September
we'll be back.
20-something.
Meat is on.
Oh, is the meat on? Oh, that's what you went downstairs for, you son of a bitch.
All right, we'll catch you guys on the second half.